We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Eva Karlstrom.
Scott Meredith.
Larry Hokenettle.
Elaine Woodhurst-Sloat.
Jerry Ogburn.
Posting of the agenda was
November 7th, Thursday, 12:30 p.m.
I make a motion we approve the minutes for Tuesday, November 12th. I'm sorry. For
October 22nd.
October 22nd.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None opposed. Minutes approved. Communication. Any public comments? 3 minutes. Is your allotted time?
All right.
How you
How
doing?
you doing?
All right.
Nice to see you all again.
Nice to see you. State your name and
My name is Carl Davis. I have Kitty Castle at VillageFest. I'd like to start with, when I had the opportunity to become a sponsor for VillageFest, I immediately jumped on the opportunity. And we did radio commercials for about 3 years on the local radio channels. And then we decided to target the young people. So we immediately produced a TV commercial and started running it on Cartoon Network, CNN, Disney, Nick at Night, Fox, and the Family Channel. So we produced a 30-second TV spot, and I'd like to just take a minute, and it's 30 seconds, so it'd be over in a flash.
okay.
You start it, Steve?
What is it that you want to do with this?
Well, I just wanted to kind of show you because we're getting moved around and I don't know where and how and what. So.
Titanic or come face to face with the saber-tooth slide at Kitty Castle in Titanic 2000. You can. Now playing every Thursday night at the Palm Springs Village Fest in downtown Palm Springs. Bounce, slide, crawl, make new friends, and have a ball. So grab mom and dad and come on down. We're in front of the Hyatt Regency Palm Springs Village Fest every Thursday night. So see you there.
Anyway, that's the commercial that we have, and we ran over 500 spots in the year 2002 already on those channels that I had mentioned. I believe that we're getting moved. I don't know what all the deal is, but as you can see, I got an awful lot of time and dollars in front of the Hyatt, and I don't know if it's going to do any good to be here. I just wanted to shoot it at you so you know what we have done in the past, along with the radio advertising that we did, which the TV is far more effective. So I'm done with the time, and I want to thank you all. So.
Have you run that on any TV stations, or you're proposing to do that?
No,
or?
we've already ran them. We've already ran over 500 commercials already at this point. Just slightly
Okay.
over 500 to
Yeah.
be exact.
Okay.
And I think we did a good job. We did VillageFest in there 3 or 4 times in
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
And that was my objective, is to build my business on Thursday night, because this is my home now. I mean, I'm
Right.
here every Thursday.
Right.
I did what I said I was going to do. I was here every Thursday, rain or shine. So
Yeah.
anyway, my time's up.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
Yeah.
thanks a lot, folks.
Can we comment on that at all? Okay. Okay, then reports, okay. Is there any other public comments, please? Okay, seeing none. Written communications, any written communications? No written communication. Reports from the board. Any board reports?
None at this time.
No board reports. Staff reports? No staff reports?
I'll do a staff
Okay.
report. Last week we were down, and the health department was down at VillageFest. We spent 3.5 hours going through every booth. So and actually it turned out really well. We've been having some complaints go into the health department, and they couldn't figure out whether they were justified or not. And now they know they're not, because they have done every booth. Booths are all up to par. Everything's perfect down there. So and work on the farmers in a couple weeks. So,
Thank you. Good to know.
Yeah. Any public reports? No public reports. We'll go to John. J&J Almonds.
Didn't want to try the last name, huh? I was before you on October 8th with a complaint, and I never heard any response on that, so I'm before you again with the same complaint. The issues that I'm trying to address are the issues that I've been hit with when I've come before this board twice trying to do food. One is food vendors have to have a business presence in this town, and my competition does not. And then when I came before this board to do my almonds, I was hit with the issue that there was already an almond vendor in the fair, and they were objecting until they were proven that the other vendor is gone, and that I was accepted. So I would like you to read my complaint and get back to me or do something,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
Thank
We
you.
did discuss it last time. We just haven't come up with any clarification yet.
Well,
We'll
the two
elaborate
points
on
I
it
just brought
later.
up
You're
are
right.
the ones that I've been hit with two different times in the 4 years that I've dealt with VillageFest. And as I've stated in there, if it's good for one, it's good for all. The
Agreed?
other party doesn't have a business, they don't even live in this town. I have a business in this town and I live in this town.
Thank you,
Okay?
John.
Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. For, where can we come in and, after these reports?
for which one?
The, it rides?
Yeah, do it under board reports, but that's fine, go back.
Okay. Where'd he go?
He left.
Okay, well, I just want to clarify that the reason why we moved him is we had complaints down there and, from store owners that he was, blocking, access to their, businesses during the Village Fest, so, okay. All right, well, then we'll move on to the, applications, for review and determination. When we call your name, please come up and stand here and talk to the mic, into the mic, state your name, and present us what you are wanting us to look at. So we'll start out with Mizell Senior Center.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Marty Hoffman. I'm the director of Mizell Senior Center. And I've been here about 7 weeks now, and I've gotten involved with our flu shot program, which I think we're in our 16th year. And it's my understanding that some years ago, we also had an opportunity to provide flu shots at the VillageFest, and we're applying to see if that would be acceptable to do it again this year. We have all of our nurses, which we have to have nurses to give the shots, and we have all of our supplies ready, and we're just raring to go. And we just want to know if it's acceptable to you to have this type of a program in the VillageFest.
You guys are using a registered nurse?
Correct.
Is what you do for this?
By law, we have to.
Right, okay.
We're in our 3rd week of giving the flu shots throughout the community.
I don't see a real problem with it. We've done it many times before, and it's a great benefit to a lot of the people.
We feel it's a way of reaching out to the community. We're finding that giving the shots, going to their locations, makes it a lot easier for most people than telling them to come to our place. And I think that this is a good opportunity with a lot of people going through the fest to
Absolutely.
get an opportunity to get the shots.
So your charge is $10?
$10.
And is that the same charge that if they come to
It's
other places where they're doing it at?
Right.
Just,
And we did it at the mall a couple weeks ago, And we've gone to about 7, 8 locations, $10 straight across the board. So we're not gonna charge them anymore.
Sounds good.
I'll make a motion that we approve Mizell Senior Center to give flu shots. Is this just a limited time?
Yep, hopefully through December.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None opposed.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Desert Regional Medical Center.
I'm Phil Tedesco. I'm representing the Desert Regional Medical Center Auxiliary. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. I have a paper here to prove that. I'm authorized by the auxiliary, even though they're here, and I'm requesting that we have a booth as a nonprofit organization at the VillageFest for only 3 nights. That is November 14th, November 21st, and December 5th, 3 Thursdays. We don't want it the Thanksgiving weekend because we don't feel there'll be enough response. We are running, the reason we're running this, I'm sorry, I haven't explained the reason. The reason we're running this is we're having a raffle of 58 different prizes. The main prize is a free trip to New York for 2, 3 nights stay at a 4-star hotel, plus Broadway theater tickets. And we have 58 other prizes, including a Bose Wave radio and digital camera and restaurant dining for 4 to 8 people at various restaurants throughout the valley and brunches. It's really quite a raffle. We have already sold about 60% of the tickets, and we would like to be able to have a booth on those 3 nights.
I'll make a motion that we approve Desert Regional Medical Center's auxiliary to sell raffle tickets at VillageFest.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Thank you.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Incidentally, Jeannie Rilla Spurgeon was the nurse who gave the flu shots when I took them about 3 years ago. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Children's Playtime Productions.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi again. We're back again this year. My name is Jane Martin. This is my daughter Chelsea
She got a lot
Martin.
bigger. You
Yes,
grew a lot.
she has. Fast. And I didn't know whether you wanted to see pictures again and things. We did the last production. It's a nonprofit organization that puts on plays to children in throughout the whole Coachella Valley who might not otherwise see arts and plays and such. And it's a group of children and some adults who still are children. And we put on usually a production twice a year. Last year, in the early part of the, wait a minute, which way is it? Far away. In the spring part, it's at the McCallum, and in the fall, it's usually at the Camelot, which it will be this year. And we have Robin Hood, and it's Merry Mob. And we're asking to get a space donated again this year because it was really successful last year, where we got the children down there and they got all dressed up, and we sold tickets and got a lot more people in, and we're looking to get 2 nights this year, if possible. And that would be, did you want to see our pictures?
Sure.
Yeah, you gotta see the pictures. This was the last one that was, tell them it was Jungle Book at the McCallum. And the dates we're looking for are November 21st and December 5th.
You want to do November 14th?
No, he said no. I was going for that. You have a very good memory. So, we're asking at the same spot, if we can get it, right out in front of Baskin Robbins, because we go right through the alley from Children Playtime's Productions offices.
I make a motion to approve the Children's Playtime Productions.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. You guys are
Opposed?
great.
None.
Thank you. Welcome again.
Thank
Good
you very
luck.
much. All right. And you'll contact us, right?
Mhm.
again? Thank you.
So you got your pictures.
That's kind of cool.
Chocolatiria. Thank you.
Hi. I'm John Russakoff.
Don Silverstein.
Chocolateria, we're just coming by to ask if we can, we want to add our own baked products, baked goods. We have some of these cookies.
Do you sell the cookies in your store?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
And brownies. Plus, we'll be bringing in additional baked goods as we start making them. So basically, these are our own products, our own formulas, and we do make them ourselves.
So it's just an add-on.
Yes.
Fudge is great, I'm sure those are good too.
If you want to take a look at the packaging that we're working on.
Are you printing your own labels?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doing all your own wrapping?
Oh, yeah.
In your store?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
We're working on making the cellophane.
Yeah, we've got the formula
Well, see, right
almost
now, you're
down,
just
so we're
barely at
getting it.
75%.
Oh, okay. Yeah, take a look at the packaging of these.
Yeah, look at the packaging.
What do they smell like?
Yeah, take a look, but that's. What? We can't do that, so that's why I wanted you to look at the
It's
packaging.
called profit
perhaps.
margin.
So you're welcome to
Those are
take a look
fresh.
at the, yes,
Yes.
Nice and
that's what we do, yes.
I make a motion to approve the add-on for I can't say this name. Chocolateria. Chocolateria.
I second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And take these away.
Welcome,
sure?
your new product.
You don't want them?
Or if you want to leave.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Once they're out of the store, I can't take them back, so. Oh, I'm so sorry.
What, do you have another bag in the car, maybe? I think I have about 25 people out here.
Yikes.
I'm supposed
Thank
to look
you.
at these all night? This is great.
No, he took the bag when he left.
That you can take back into the store.
Sprint. PCS. Okay. Animal Samaritans. Desert AIDS Project. Rodmar Marketing. There we go. Yeah. They are. Oh.
Good afternoon.
We'll roll them over later. Would you move over a little more in
Okay,
front
over
of
here?
the microphone?
Right in there, okay.
Thank you very much.
I'm Rod McDonald. I'm not only representing myself, but also the Foundation for the Retarded, who used to have a booth at the VillageFest. I have had a space at the COD Street Fair for the last 5 years, and I gave that up. I'm no longer doing that. But I did get my materials and have a lot of the things made by the Foundation for the Retarded. I take the initial product and I paint a lot of it. Starts out like this. But they have the ovens, the kilns, and everything to finish the product. I don't have that. Here's an idea of some of the finished products. Now, each item have a sticker on it saying that it's handcrafted by the Foundation for the Retarded. I have pictures and everything here of the people making it. So anybody purchasing would be contributing to the foundation, which is a very worthy cause. They do not have the people or the time to man a booth. So I offered to do it for them, since I had the expertise in marketing the products.
So every piece is done at the foundation?
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
finished?
Yeah, they have 9,000 molds, where they make the original mold, and you start like this, then they're painted, and then, or glazed or whatever, and then they go to the kilns, the fires. And now, this way, they are getting a contribution of everything, from everything sold.
Right, so
Public.
it's charitable.
Yeah, and there would be a sign stating that anything purchased goes to towards the Foundation for the Retarded.
Does 100% of the funds go back?
Not 100%, no, because I have to buy it from them.
Okay.
So I've been buying from them and starting the stuff and then giving it to them because I don't have the ovens, the kilns, or anything to do it. So they would get a large percentage of every sale.
Would he need a letter being an exclusive distributor from him or as a representative?
That's how you want it, that's the way you can kind of do it.
Is that normally what we do when somebody else is
But are they
representing?
but is he the
Yeah, I don't know that you're actually, I mean, I understand that you're buying it from them, but you're not actually representing the foundation for the retarded then.
Yes, I'm doing this for them. What I'm doing for them.
What do
So
they do
the-
with the, you sell everything from 9,000 molds that nobody else buys?
No, no, no. They have 9,000 molds where you can start these things from. I mean, they're not gonna have 9,000 items out there, that's for sure. But I'm just showing you, a couple of items. There's some little tiny things
But
too,
anybody else could do the
napkin
same
rings
thing,
and everything.
correct?
What's that?
Anybody else could do the same thing, correct? Buy it from them and paint it and go back to them and.
No, not without their approval.
But that's their business to do that. I mean, that's how they make their
No,
money,
not-
correct?
not without their approval. I mean, they sell themselves, they have their own store.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about representing them at the Village Fest.
So
But are
this-
you
Go ahead.
are you actually representing them?
Yes.
Is
But
this,
then all the money should go back to them, correct? You're representing yourself, so.
Yeah, well, I get a
You're a
little bit for doing it
businessman.
too, yeah.
Do you sell these to anybody else?
No,
This would
no,
just
that's the
be
whole idea.
solely-
It would only be, I used to sell at the street fair, at COD.
Okay.
We gave that up last year. We did that for 5 years. And I had their products and I had other products, a variety of things from Arizona, from artists in Arizona. But we can't handle those here at the Village Fest.
so is this a nonprofit booth?
No, he doesn't have a nonprofit number.
I don't have a nonprofit number, they do. No, I've got a resale permit.
Question is whether he's the exclusive representative of them, and if that, isn't that the question here?
Yeah.
Because
that's
they
what I
could
was
have
getting.
3 or 4 people that could do the same thing, or any number of people, but.
Then at that point, we would require a letter from the foundation.
We've handled that way before when we've had somebody representing several artists,
Right.
right?
Right. Can you get a letter from the foundation
Oh,
stating
sure.
that you are their representative and reapproach us, please?
Oh, sure.
Okay,
Sure,
let's
yeah.
do that, and let's just put this on ice right now and
Okay. Well, sure,
get a
yeah,
letter.
I
And,
brought
mean,
some.
It's not that we
some
don't trust you, it's
No,
just we have to go
no.
through these
I
formalities.
brought some
that-
pictures and things
Yeah.
and checks and things from them, but, yeah,
Okay.
sure, I can supply
Yeah,
you
because
with
that's our
whatever.
ruling, when somebody else is representing another artist, we need a
Yeah, I
letter
understand, I
from them.
understand.
Okay.
Sure. Do you want me to just mail that into you, get the letter and mail it, or how would you like to handle it?
But I have a
Uh,
question as to the molds and stuff as well. I mean, there's nothing that's particularly unique. It's just, I have no problem with the fact
Yeah.
that if all the percentage or all the proceeds went back to the foundation for the retarded, I would have a much easier time with it rather
Well,
than.
this was presented to us as a not-for-profit organization selling things for their charitable cause, and 100% of the funds are going back to them. It would just be right. It would just get approved right away.
How much of the percentage goes back to them?
About 60%.
60%?
And I would be paying for the space and all.
Right, so that
So,
wouldn't be
I mean,
their
they're-
expense.
They're
at all.
not gonna pay for space.
Yeah, because this is a real gray line with
Mhm.
being, you're not making the item. What are you
No,
doing to it?
I do some of it, but I can't.
You do the painting
Yeah.
on them is what you do,
Mhm.
basically?
I don't have the kilns, the ovens or anything.
Right,
to
so they're
complete
making
'em.
basically the greenware, and then you're
Yeah. Yeah,
elaborating
it
on
starts,
it.
it starts the basic.
Right.
They have the molds to start the basic.
So you say
do.
they, who's they?
The students at the foundation.
Okay, so they just make the molds.
They make the molds.
They don't finish them or anything like that.
No, they do some, yes, they do some of the
Okay, they
finishing.
do.
Oh, yeah, they do a lot of the work.
So they make it and they pour the
Mhm.
items,
They pour,
correct?
yeah, they
Okay.
pour them.
And you are
And
glazing
I'm
them?
painting them and
painting
glazing them,
glazing.
and then they're painting them and glazing them also.
Right.
And then they're firing them in the ovens. One of the problems I've had with the thing, as I purchased through there, is there's a lot of breakage with the people working with it. There's a lot of breakage, and sometimes it takes a long time to get orders through. So that's been one of my problems in the past in dealing with them. But I felt this way, it helps them, it gets their products out, and it's a contribution to a good cause.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Question, when this has come up before with other vendors, the question is whether these molds do they create the molds or do they buy the molds? Because it's been a problem with others doing this kind of greenware. They're just buying molds and just basically painting.
Right.
So the question, I guess, we've heard with others, not this group, but others trying to do the same thing, is whether the molds were created and they're unique, one of a kind, or they're simply something they bought.
Right, because what he's saying is, there's been cases where we have not allowed people because they were not making their own molds. They're just buying a mold and pouring it, and really that isn't 75% handcrafted if you're using somebody else's mold. So what we've required or have asked for is people to actually make their own molds. Then that put a little more of the arts, the hands-on into it. So are they making their molds? That's the question.
No, they pour the
They-
stuff, but they buy
okay.
the molds. They, you know, there's
Yeah.
companies that make molds.
Yeah.
They buy the molds from the catalogs, just
Yeah.
like anybody else does.
Yeah.
And I think the majority of people out there do the same thing.
Yeah, because what we're gonna do is, we're gonna back ourselves into a corner if we approve this, where we've turned people down before for the same situation. You know, it wasn't not their mold, they were just pouring, hand assembling, basically. And if we approve you, then, that is sort of discrimination to the people that we've turned down before. And, you know, being, you know, because it's the foundation, you know, that would, you know, you look at it a different way, but legally we can't. We have to be consistent with everybody.
Okay. I will tell them.
So,
So we need to make a motion to,
yeah, it's very great.
I make a motion to deny Rodmar Marketing with these products under this way that it's been presented.
Well,
as
that was sent in
opposed
under
to-
my name because I have the
Yeah.
resale license.
I think it'd be a different situation if 100%, if they were out there selling, or you representing them,
Okay,
and
yeah,
100% of the
yeah.
profits went back to them. But
They
because
would
the
like
sit-
to, but they don't have the people, as they say, they're in the
Yeah, just because of
manpower.
the situation the way it is, I make a motion to deny
I second.
Rodmar Marketing.
I have to second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
None.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Max's Waxes.
Hello,
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
my name is Erica Reed from Max's Waxes. I just moved here about 2 months ago, and I've started making my own homemade candles. I've got all of the invoices for the raw materials that you recommended, as well as a photo album that I put together in the last 2 hours, because I didn't get the mail-in appointment. So I'll pass that around. So I threw this together, and this is actually what I will be wearing at the fest. And here's an example of some of the candles. And I do everything out of the garage. I have done one festival. You can see in there what the booth looked like.
Are you pouring these candles into a mold?
Yes, I am.
Are you making the mold?
No, I'm not. And I can pass them around. Wanna smell the scents? And I do about 25 different sizes and shapes. The votives as well as the tallest one that's being passed around. And I make all the labels myself.
Are you mixing your own scents?
Yes, I am. And the colors. It starts off with the raw paraffin wax that you'll see in one of those pictures there. Pouring into the 50-pound pot. Here's just a copy of my business card that I made.
So where's Max?
Max is at home.
Max is a dog, for anybody.
Max is my
I
dog.
can't see these here.
He's 2 years old, 120 pounds.
He sleeps on the bed?
Yes, he does. In fact, the front one, the front packing slip, I just got delivered today. And that's that's for the Christmas candles that I will be starting tomorrow. I do have some examples of ones that I'm going to be putting into a pet store.
Yeah, I saw those in there. There's one with a dog bone on it too, right?
Yeah.
One of these photographs has a,
What are they as of?
no, one of these photographs has holders and lanterns and
See which one you're looking
do you make these?
at. I do not make these.
They wouldn't-
In fact, I didn't bring an example because this is what I want to sell right now.
Okay, so you wouldn't be having these at your
No,
booth, okay?
no. Not unless it's approved. Yeah, these are just some with the little dog bones and hearts. And the prices range from $4 to $12.
Okay.
How many candle vendors do we have right now? Do you know roughly,
Is there-
percentage-wise?
Yeah, is there any
8?
kind of percentage cap that we're at or nearing?
And I plan on doing it year-round.
So we are at a percentage cap for candles?
I would say real close to it. We've got like 10 out there. Because, you know, we've got all those ones that do the soaps and stuff, they always add candles. So we've got all those. Wanna do something with all this.
Are they there every Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we make lists after we do come to a certain point, or like a waiting list of some, like if one did drop out? How?
We can.
Yeah. So they would be approved, and then you could call them
Or you
when.
might-
It's just we have so many candle booths.
Right.
Call them after one drops out. That happened this year around.
Yeah.
We approved so many the last 3, 4
Mhm.
months.
Are you selling these anywhere else?
No, not at this time. I mean, I did have the one festival and that's it. And by law, I can't sell them out of the garage. Although I've been asked. So, thought I'd give the VillageFest a try, and then also I've got a few shops that are interested in selling them as well.
Well, we have to look at them, or, you know, there's a little more design in hers than just,
They
you know,
are,
the
they're
normal
nice.
candles.
I even
so,
like
you know,
this little-
I'm thinking, I agree with you, the colors and the fact that she has like this animal
the
motif.
dog bones in
And they
it
have Palm
stuff,
Springs
so.
written on
Yeah,
the tag. I like
there's
that.
a
as
little
well.
animal
Yeah.
motif in a lot
I like
of
the
them.
little dog
Yeah,
bones.
'cause
It's cute. I haven't
what
seen
we're
that
getting
before.
is when there's candles, we have 10 people, and they're all repetitious.
Right.
You know, it's the same thing. You go to the next booth, it's the same thing. Where you
There's
have a
nothing
little
alike.
art,
Yeah.
you know, you put something into them, you know, it steps it up just a little bit.
I like the way she's wrapped it up. It's cute.
Yeah, it's
It's
you know,
Yeah, I'm just feeling very
yeah, but
selective about candles.
we have to be very careful with, you know, it's gonna be a food court and a candle court
That's
if
the
we're-
thing is,
if
you
we're
know,
not
they complain
careful.
because they get too close to each other, but you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
if you've got a lot out there, you're gonna be within 2 or 3 booths around.
yeah.
Which I, no. It's not like-
You're the candle expert.
They're very, they're art, you know, they're
Mhm.
colorful and they have a motif to them. They do have some personality for a candle. So,
Palm Springs.
And Max is
You know what
adorable.
that
My baby boy.
well, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve Max's candles, for VillageFest.
Will Max be there?
Can he?
He
Are you allowed to bring
Of course.
dogs? Oh, that would be great.
Well,
He's got to
we-
wear a shirt
we
too,
don't
though.
encourage it.
But it's his candles. I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? None.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
So that means we have 10? Okay.
Or so.
Now, the payment and all that, what?
I'll call you
Elaine.
tomorrow.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's, you know,
Are you having any complaints from them? I mean, I know they're right next to each other, but they're all making money. They're all doing okay.
They just started all of them.
Okay, that's true.
Like 10 of them started in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. It looks pretty
Tapestry and
nice,
lace.
so.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Also, what I didn't tell you is, you know, after we approve or disapprove, you know, and be the case if we approve that, Elaine will contact you and give you all the statistics, or, you know, what you're supposed to do as far as payment, insurance. And also, if we approve you, say, before 5 o'clock, that'll give you a chance to run down to the city clerk and get your business license. So you wouldn't have to come back to City Hall to do so. If
Hi.
not, come back tomorrow.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Deborah Coburn, and I didn't know what I was supposed to bring, so I brought a little bit of everything. I don't expect to pass everything around. I brought my whole case of jewelry from the shows I did this weekend. I've been making jewelry for about 10 years. I don't know what you want to see. Do you want to see pictures?
Yes, please.
Okay, here's the folder. I think my cat's folder might be in, picture might be in there too, sorry. I make Fimo jewelry. Here's a bunch of clay I use. There's some receipts in there for a lot of different parts. That's all I could find quickly. I have lots more if you need me to find them. I've got parts, stuff in the works. I do a lot of hand knotting of pearl jewelry on silk cords.
Why don't you pass some of that around?
Should I just pass the little
Yeah,
bags?
yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
Want the place here?
Yeah.
Okay, this is some hand wired, and then this, and all of these.
I don't want to open it up here, but
Yeah.
I want to see.
They're hand wired. This is a hand knotted. This particular one is mine, so it's been worn. It's got a little kind of a used end. Earrings, bracelets, and all the parts fill out.
So how long have you done the sawdust?
I've done this sawdust for, this summer will be my 10th year.
So these are just strung on here, correct?
No, I hand knot them.
Do you make this chain? Like, do you make every little loop?
I don't make every little loop on there, but see where the bead is?
Mhm.
I wire wrap the bead on. And then if you look at these, this is similar, only it doesn't have chain in the middle. All of this. Handmade chain, sterling silver wire I start off with. And then this is some of my female stuff in here.
And my next question is, do you make the beads?
I make the female beads, but I don't make the beads on those. I don't make the crystals or the pearls, but I hand make the chain, which takes a real long time.
Oh, so these you do hand make? The
Yeah,
chain.
that's the wire. Yeah, the only chain I don't make is what you saw, the in-between, that's this long. Because otherwise
This.
everything would look the same
Right.
if I didn't, I like the separation.
What do you do with this little guy?
He's a necklace.
What do you? I mean, I don't mean it that way. But what part of this do you do? What part of it do you make?
Oh, the whole
or-
thing.
Is that the
See,
clay?
here's the clay.
Oh, okay, I got
And
it.
then
Okay.
here's a female, bracelet in here too.
Okay.
And then these are my hand knotted pearls that I buy silk,
Got it.
I
didn't see the clay.
silk cord.
Bead.
And then I
Compare
put
for
the, pearl on there and I knot it, it's all hand knotted, and then, so I use, sterling silver wire.
With these bracelets and necklaces, they don't fall into the category of being 75% handmade. If you were to, some people do make their own chain, some people make their own beads.
Yeah, I make glass beads too, but I haven't been doing it lately.
Those would,
I
those
actually
would be
make the glass
accepted.
bead, yeah, but people
Um,
don't wanna pay the money for them, so I've just, I've learned how to make.
Like this Fimo, that if
Mhm.
if this was handmade,
Yeah, and there's a female bracelet in there too.
this would be approved.
See, like with the sawdust, they're 75% too,
Mhm.
and you have to, you can use store-bought beads if you make if you do the rest, if you do the hand wire wrapping of the chain. Because you're starting off with a coil of wire and your round nose pliers, and you're just making a
So
chain.
this bracelet, you did all this wire
Yes,
wrapping yourself?
Yes, all I bought was the little amethyst
Now, these would be approved.
thing and the clasp.
Yeah, she spun all the wire.
You can say that's.
But these,
That one, I buy some chain. The chain is in between, but if you look at the bead's through wire and the hand wrapped onto it.
So basically, these wouldn't qualify.
Okay,
It's not enough of your own work on it.
okay.
Are you
well,
Where this one, where you've made basically
whole chain.
the whole chain,
Mhm.
I don't know, how's the board feel about it? Because what we've looked at, with items before is, where the wire wrap has become, pretty elaborate and twisted around the stone or things like
Mhm.
that. Not just a matter of a mechanism of holding the stones together.
Mhm.
It's more of the, a piece of the art with the wire.
I've done so many
To,
types of,
to bring it away, the category of just bead stringing.
right, a
'Cause
bead
we
string.
can't allow bead string,
Right,
so that's why
I
we're
see.
trying to tiptoe on this a little bit and see what part of it you have made.
I used to just do nothing but glass beads, but like I said, people didn't want to spend, it takes you so long, not glass blower, but where it's, done with
With
a
rods
mandrel.
like and-
Yeah, I use
yeah.
a torch and I'm using the rods, but,
It's a lot of work.
it's a very expensive
Yeah.
product, and
Yeah,
people
we
like,
know
why
it.
is this so
Yeah.
expensive? So I've, then I honed in on the Fimo, and I was making those beads. And then people really like the simple, more feminine look instead of big clunky beads, so that's how I started
Right.
this. Oh, and what about accessories? Okay. Like my little sunglass holders. Purses and shawls, and I forgot to bring them. I see, I'm a clothing designer also, but I know you don't allow clothing. So I didn't even bother to bring any of that, of course, but some of the other artists that I work with said that you do accessories. So I work with a lot of Italian tapestries, I make purses. That's all I have though, as a sample.
Well, basically this would be just sewing.
Well, just sewing,
Well, I don't sew, so maybe there's more to it than I know.
okay. If it had tassels hanging all over it, I don't know.
What I'm trying to say, there's not enough artistic value of it to warrant
Except, I just-
75% handcrafted. You've taken the material
I've
and you
cut
run
it.
it through the machine.
But I design the
so-
patterns and cut it, I don't
Yeah.
go out and buy a kit or
Because there's been where people have come in with pillows and things before, and basically it's the same thing, but they stuff it with, down or whatever. Is this original design?
You're talking about the fabric.
See, I make bigger purses, and unfortunately, I didn't bring one of my purses, and I have leather trim on them, and the
Yeah.
scraps I use up for that. If you must know, I make vests out of that, and pillows, and all kinds
Yeah.
of things. I buy my tapestry by the
Yeah.
big roll. So I guess there's no sense in showing you any of the other stuff. Let's see. Well, here's my Fimo stuff, but I don't have enough
good.
Fimo to do a show, I mix do a little of this and a little of that.
Do you have anything with a little more elaborate wire wrapping, sort of?
No, that's as elaborate as I
That's
get.
it.
It takes me a day to make one of those. I'm not. Well, that's why I've slowed down on making necklaces out of it, because it takes me 2 days to hand wire wrap a necklace, and I have to sell it for $100, and people, they don't want to let go of that.
To give them change from that 100, it's a little easier.
Yeah.
$99.
They like $30. They like that a lot better.
Yeah, under the rules and regulations of VillageFest, I'm gonna make a motion to deny tapestry and lace at this time for the items that have been shown.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Sorry.
Okay. Try to get this out of your way fast. Thank you.
The new moon? Bedazzled.
more than just BEAD, even though it's in my title.
So is this bead dazzle, meaning you're doing beads?
Can I watch? It's a lot more than
Please
it's
do.
a lot more than beads. It's just a cute name. So I actually do silversmith and goldsmithing also. And
I wonder if we should
I
just
do
pass
finer
these around.
jewelry. And this one is a twisted soldered ring I've made. And then I've wire worked all these little drops onto this. And it's a light faceted amethyst. And a lot of times I'll cut my own stones. And I try to use a lot of materials that are from California. I do a lot of shells. And turquoise and things from mines that if I can find local people that find stones that I can work with from around the area.
She uses also very unusual.
So are you saying you make these little rings in between
Uh-huh.
these beads?
No.
So you're twisting all the wires?
Just
I do
twisting
all
the
the
wire.
wire work. No, I make soldered. I do soldering and stuff
Okay,
like
but
that too.
besides soldering these rings, do you make these
You
larger
take-
rings?
You twist a wire and then you solder it together. And sometimes I buy manufactured chain if it's something that's going to be very time consuming. Sometimes I'll make things that I can't find if I need it to suit I really enjoy design. So if I can find stuff that will work with my designs, I'll use it, and if I can't, I'll make it. So like this is something I wove, and I fit all these little seed pearls through this vermeil bead. Like, this is all hand knotted, and the way I do it is I stretch silk. So I take silk that starts in a spool and I stretch it, and then I actually do knotting where I tie the two together, and it's a real tight knotting. It's a very finished look, and it helps the pearls lay correctly so that they flow. And there's another way to do it.
This is honey, let them look at this.
Okay, I'll just show them this
Oh,
one
show
other
them
thing.
these. This is all, these are all hand wired.
Well, let me
There's
just show
really,
you.
this is.
This is Mediterranean coral, and it's from the coast of Italy, and it's graduated. And red coral is pretty unusual and hard to find.
So is this like your catalog, so you keep making the same?
These are all one of a
All
kind.
one of a
Okay.
kind. This is like a semi-portfolio.
Uh-huh.
This is the thing, some recent things.
This is moonstone.
These are very unusual stones that you
So
really won't see anyplace.
Did you cut these stones?
Those I didn't cut. I loved the cut and I found them, so I just knotted them. But it took me 4 strands to get to the graduated state, and some of them I have to re-drill depending on how I get them. And a lot of times I'll do it myself.
Did you want to see some of these?
Like this one is silk, and I left a little bit of the silk showing. It gives it a different design element.
And then I'll show like.
Now this is something that is strung, but the element of design is something that for a strung piece you don't really see. It's a lariat. And what I've done is I've designed it in a way that you can wear one of these or both of them. And in the center here, all the little semi-precious stones cluster as a bud, and they hang down. These take a long time to make. And the pattern is such, I mean, I've made these in the past, and it took me a long time to get it where you can actually double it, where everything is positioned correctly, and where the bud shows right here. So if I do string things, it usually has some sort of element that makes it designed differently than throwing something together. Like this took me months to actually figure out how I wanted to do it so everything would line up. And this actually comes undone. And you can stack them. Do you want to take it apart?
That's okay.
And I'll just
This
show
one,
you.
please.
And then like these are freshwater pearls, and I've knotted all these.
This is the way they
So-
lay when you wear them.
And sometimes like, and there's a picture in there where I found some and I drilled them downward so they're they're called Bewa pearls. So I mix both things I find and.
The design element is very key in what Mindy does, and it's very unusual, unique. She has a real
Those are
following, and
faceted
a
pearls.
very loyal following. And she'd like to develop one here if she could.
Mm,
That's fine.
Yeah, the book has been built up over a long time.
Most of those pieces are silver, but
And
these
they're
are
all
some
one
the
of a
pieces that
kind.
she made.
And if people ever want to design things with me, like a lot of, I don't sell a lot of my silversmithing because it's very time consuming, but I definitely
So-
like design with people and incorporate that into it.
Well, while we can appreciate the time and the designs that come in, it still remains that it has to be 75% handmade.
Okay.
And you say some of your stones you cut. Now, if you cut the stones and made,
That's
the
not-
sh-
Most of these stones are.
Most of these
she
are
finds.
manufactured.
It's a selection of what she finds, how she puts them together. It's all put together by her.
well, I understand
Yeah,
what
they're
you're
just
saying.
very unusual. But I mean, she doesn't make her beads, you can't do that, she doesn't facet them, and she
Mhm.
doesn't, you know. But these are things you really won't find.
They are very nice. I mean, they're
Yeah.
entirely different quality than some of the other
Yeah,
things that.
this-
I travel like constantly looking for very,
Very
different,
unusual. That's
and I
called
I mean,
Jambo.
if I find something, I'll wait a year until I find just the right thing to put it with.
That's all hands, the Jasper's all knotted, you know, she's a very different element to what she does. She's
And
a-
while I know my technique like very well, everything is 100% made by me, and it takes a lot of time. And I'm always coming
sure
up
it
with new
does.
ways to do it so that it lays correctly and everything like that. I only use stones that you'll really never see a lot of them again.
Yeah, she's an artisan.
So. And I'm in one of the oldest art co-ops in San Diego, and I've done very well, and I have a nice
30 years
following there, and I would like to explore up here.
Yeah, she really is exceptional.
It's just a different quality of stuff than a
Well,
lot of
I guess the
people.
question would be is if your wire wrapping is
She does all her-
75% of the
It's
product.
100% by
She
me.
does all her wire wrapping. I mean, none of what she has here, yeah, she does all her wire
And sometimes a
wrapping.
lot of people buy stones and you can't use what you get. You have to
This
like
is,
drill through them again. Or you'll find a stone you really like and you'll have to do it yourself. So the only way I can continue doing this is to mix the two. Or else it's just, I would have maybe 5 pieces. And I do everything to perfection, so it's like I'd be in there
That's
day and
beautiful
night.
jewelry.
Yeah, they're very nice. They
Yeah.
really, really are.
Well, I search
Can I
like
see that one?
no other for stuff.
This is, mother of pearl, faceted mother of pearl alternating.
And those are
with
coin pearls. So in the oyster, they insert that shape into the pearl, and then the nacre grows over it. But you want to make sure the nacre, like I had to make sure the nacre covers the whole thing, because when you're buying, a lot of times you'll get pearls now where the quality is such that the nacre won't even cover the insert. So it's just knowing what to look for and putting it together in a way that no one else really does.
Do you have any photographs of you making this jewelry?
Yeah.
Making these.
Doing wire work?
Doing the wire work in
I
between the
have all
stones.
my.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, I have huge trays. I have huge trays of designs that I'm constantly switching because it won't lay correctly, or I have to not. Sometimes I'll string something, and you know what? Stringing to me doesn't do it because you don't get the same effect as when you add another element to it that really makes it a finished piece. So,
These all wire work.
and the pictures of me, I'll get. You can see.
It's a lot messier than that.
My whole floor
You
is
can
like
get the whole mess.
covered.
Well, there are some of, would you say there's some pieces here that would fit the criteria and
Yeah.
some that don't?
And I can focus on pieces that you'd
Yeah.
be more comfortable with.
Because you have there are some that, where your wire wrapping is elaborate enough that's gonna take it over, that
And
edge
like,
of
I'll
being
just
just
show you.
beading.
Like pieces like this.
But some are real marginal that,
Right, just to
we
take
couldn't
those
accept.
moonstone beads and not make a knotted necklace just doesn't,
I see what
You
you're
know
saying.
something? Oh, you
it
talking about
doesn't
the
ma-
moonstone?
yeah, it doesn't
The what,
matter.
the
I
piece
think
that
it's a
like,
very, if you
doesn't-
showed it to women, I think
I
it's a very.
understand what you're saying, but that's not the issue here.
Oh,
I agree,
Okay,
it's
just
beautiful,
a-
it's beautiful
right,
jewelry.
The design element is a
It's
real
beautiful
important part of
jewelry.
what she does.
Right, I
Let me
agree,
just
it's
show
very
you.
beautiful.
like, as far as, Like, well, that's obviously fed through. This one is knotted, but this isn't just knotting. Like, I knotted 3 strands, all different style stones, and integrated these Asian-looking mermaid beads.
And I realize bead knotting is very time consuming and you have
To
to
do
know
it
what you're
correctly.
doing. Oh, I know.
It is.
Well, that's fine if they don't, you know.
Yeah.
Well, some pieces do, I think we're saying, and some don't.
And that's a
I think
question
it's
I
just
have.
kind of.
I have just in general now, like, I've never seen anyone bring knotted jewelry here, like knotted necklaces, because it is hard to do and it's time consuming. Is that part of being 75%?
And they are
Well,
very
most
nice.
people
Well,
very,
that's,
very nice
you know, a
pieces.
lot of work tying the knots.
You have to know how to knot a
Right,
necklace, like
yeah.
a pearl necklace. It's something you have to know how to do.
Well, you have to know how to stretch the silk. You have to know
Right.
what kind of silk to get. There's so many different kinds. You have to know what gets knotted on what. You can't knot a pearl on silk that's meant for like something where the silk actually shows. Like this piece is completely different silk. It's twisted almost like a chain. You have to twist the 2 pieces together
Mhm.
and then put wax over it, and that holds it together so that you can actually keep it showing when you're making something that's designed almost like a floating beads. Whereas this silk is a different kind of silk. It's not twisted at all. It's almost like something you would use to weave. It's like, so I mean, even in wire work, you have to know what kind of wire you can use, and if it's gold filled. Mine's gold filled or 14 karat. You can't, I don't use base metal because it turns, and I use sterling. And I don't know. I put my heart into what
Yeah,
I
I
do.
can tell you really
Like
do.
passion,
It's
that's why.
beautiful.
She knows her stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Can I see those other pictures? Are they different ones? Do you have any like close-ups of you like twisting that wire and?
I can send you some if you want to get that close.
Well, that's where we're at right now.
All right, I'll send you some of me at my deepest moments.
These are her brother.
That's not.
So that's it.
The
huh?
rest of it, yeah. But if you want, I can like even do a demonstration how you do things. You should take a class. I used to teach. And then also like with some of the metals, when it's sterling, like let's see if I have any. Like with with something like I guess this. The beads, if I do buy them, come bright silver, and sometimes you'll have to dip them in like a sulfuric acid solution. And I do this with a lot of my wire work. I didn't happen to bring any, but you'll dip it, and then with steel wool, you'll take the coating off, and you'll polish it up, and it leaves the silver looking like there's some depth to it, like when you see sterling silver that has black in the creases. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I should have brought some. But that's something I also do a lot of. So taking sterling, making it look really different. Even in wrapping, it brings out like all the little details.
I think we're a little torn here in between.
If you want me to show you like how I do it, I can always.
Yeah, well,
I
I
can
don't
make a
think we're
tape.
doubting that you don't do the wire wrapping. I think what we're trying to digest is enough to override it just being bead stringing. Because, see, we take a lot of
Okay.
heat from the merchants and,
Yeah.
you know, we've turned a lot of people away on beads and, you know, when something's borderline and we approve it, you know, they're gonna be right back in our face on it. And, so that's what we have to be real careful that, you know, your wire wrapping is gonna be your art is basically is what it is, because the beads are not your
Well,
art.
sometimes I'll
You put them
incorporate-
together, but the wire wrapping is
Right.
on per being approved as your art is the wire wrapping.
Yeah.
And the knotting.
So the wire wrapping has to be bigger than the bead per art wise.
You mean?
Oh, she doesn't
You mean
do
you
that
want more
kind of work.
labor?
Well, I
She
don't
doesn't
mean
do
larger,
that
I mean
kind of
just
Percentage-wise.
more
wrapping
percentage
stuff.
wise.
That's not
No.
what she
Yeah,
does.
I don't wanna see a
more-
big
you want-
wad of wire,
You want
it's
me to
just-
say that it's more of my time and labor
No.
what I'm doing than there is like just bought stuff in the piece.
No, he means like, why, I know what you mean, people wrap a bead, she doesn't do that. That's
I-
not the kind of work she
I
does.
do, but I haven't, yeah.
That's not what she
Yeah.
designs and sells. You mean when someone just wraps the
Well, I
wire
take
They
around.
loop the
pearls.
wire
Like,
around it.
I take
and,
pearls
you know.
and on either side.
Wire wrap jewelry is very popular at street fairs.
Yes, she
Right.
doesn't make
The
wire.
only
She
thing I
doesn't
do-
This is called wire
Can you let me
wrapping.
talk?
Right, I understand.
The
Yeah.
only thing I do where the wire shows like that is if I have a big pearl or something, on either side the wire will run around it. And that's like, and I've taken classes to do that kind of stuff. It's similar, it's just applying it in different ways. I mean, they teach everything from this to how to actually, I mean, I know how to make it go around the bead and kink it and everything. It's just whatever the design lends itself to, and sometimes I'll let it go around a pearl, but I don't totally love the style of having it take away from the stone, because the stones I find are just
Right.
exceptional.
Design comes into play here, but it just.
I mean,
yeah,
if I have
yeah.
stones that aren't great, like glass that I don't think is that stunning, maybe it's gonna need something extra. But if I can find stuff that I wanna display, I wanna design it in a way that, you know, not too much else is gonna get in the way except my design and what other stones I'm putting it with and the technique I'm using to see how it's gonna lay. I think people that do more wire work, it's like, it's not quite as much design, it's more, it's a little different.
Well, like those necklaces that are multi-stranded, in my
Mhm.
opinion, that's very hand-done, simply because there's so much work involved, there's so many
Well, it's like-
factors.
I had 8 strands of pearls, and in between I put a rough cut watermelon tourmaline. That was the green and pink one. And I had to get it to lay so that every 3 pearls, one tourmaline was there and one tourmaline was there, and they didn't ever like hit. So I never knew when I started this how long. I just thought, oh, I see a vision and I'll go do it. But it takes forever.
Well, what do you guys want to do?
This is kind of a tough one. They're very beautiful pieces. They really, really
My
are.
heart
I
is
mean,
in all
I can
of them.
tell you're really.
I do.
It's
My
you.
designs are like take
It's
forever.
absolutely you.
Sometimes days.
Ken, maybe could you reapproach us with more of a, wire wrap?
This is
Well,
what she
I
know,
come out
stronger
with different
the
stuff
wire
all the
wrapping.
time.
Wire,
And I'm all the way from San Diego.
This is what she does, though. She doesn't do what you're talking
I
about.
don't. I don't
wrapping,
like
you
to.
know, that's a different.
If I do
that's
that, it's for
something
a stone
else.
that has a flaw, because I feel like even though that's beautiful for people that do it, it's not my style. I like to design things that are handmade by me in a way that it's going to show off the natural beauty of the stone.
Well, do you guys want to look at selective items that had enough wrapping and approve that, or if you think it was strong enough for approval?
That's what I'm considering as I'm sitting here.
They're very nice. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
quality.
really nice.
Yeah,
It's,
there's
you
a
know,
lot of
we're not
quality.
trying to
can
shut you
see.
down, we're just trying to,
It's, oh, yeah,
you know,
no, she.
I mean, I
follow
use
the book.
I use
Right,
more
I'm
wires
not sure what
when I
wire
think
wrap
it's
means in this sense,
necessary to
but I know
cover
she
us.
doesn't take stones, I mean, I see that a lot, and
Yeah.
that's not what she
Yeah.
does. She does a lot, most of her work is wire wrap, and that's what this
And
is
knotting.
called.
I do a
It's
lot of
wire
knotting.
wrap and knotting.
oxidizing silver and taking the. I mean, I do a lot with finishings of metal
Yeah.
before I put them in.
But she doesn't take a stone, and, you know, I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of that too, that's just,
Yeah,
she
it's-
can do it, but it's not her, you know, that's not what she
The only things I think that we had the
designs.
problem with were that they were all beaded, or how about the knotting ones? What was?
Well, that's
How did we-
that was a question that I had concerning bead knotting.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't know where we stand on that one. We haven't
Something
seen
I
any of
really
those in a
haven't
while.
seen it.
Also,
I've been on
to
this
take
board.
someone that's knotting, like you could see 3 different people that knot, and they'll all have a different quality. When someone really knows what they're doing and is knotting, I mean, I taught knotting for 2 years, and I was a specialist in
Yeah,
it. So
I'm
it's
familiar
like,
with
right.
knotting.
So it's depends a lot on each case, like how well
Yeah.
they know their stuff, and if you feel that it's something that's the quality you're looking for.
So then would the bead become an accessory to your knotting?
You
Would
could
be
look at
another
it
way
as
to look at
Oh,
it. You
no,
know?
this is what she
It's obviously
makes,
a
I'm not
talent.
sure.
Well, I mean, if you take we want to make a pearl necklace, and you want to, you know, take bead cord. There is quite a
If-
bit of know-how. in
If you just
knotting
string
that,
it, it's
especially
not
with
gonna feel.
silk.
It's not gonna feel right. If you just string it on anything, or if you knot it on anything, it's not gonna be right. Knotting it protects the pearl. It has to be a certain distance away from each thing.
And if she's twisting every single one of those links on those chains, aside from those little
It's a lot of work.
those little
Here, I'll show you what.
accessories on each end of the bead.
You know, we put this together, it's beautiful. Every single thing is knotted.
Every one of these is knotted. Do you know why?
Feels like
Because when
silk.
it would kink when I would put it around the wrist, each bead rubs against each other and they chip. So
Stringers,
anything I
you know,
string has to
might
have
just
something
look
between
like
it to
that.
protect the stone because the
They would
stones I
all
use
fall off and
are usually a
throw.
double A quality.
Stay together.
So you'll never find stuff strung that needs to be protected and needs to lay a certain way.
This was
Yeah.
Even if it's 10
Okay.
strands.
Nothing that I've seen is actually just strung.
Because
Doesn't
I
do
don't,
that, really.
I'll only string things if it's a rare occasion where it'll
For
actually
instance,
flow correctly, which
Let's
is.
make a move, board.
Well, I make a motion to approve. I think she has really nice things. I think she'd be an asset to down there. I like her. Just so you can tell she's really into this.
It's my life.
She
I've done it.
loves
I've
this.
collected
It's her
stones since
passion.
I was
Your
5.
designs are very unique. And
Maybe I'm trying to think. More of there's nothing there in particular. The one with all the beads on it. Those were knotted as well. The long one you had with all the.
well, that's when I was looking at it and I started thinking, well, this is
Because if
knotted.
it breaks, also,
And bead
you
knotting
lose
is an
all,
art.
you won't lose all your
Bead knotting
beads.
is an art.
If anything should
Okay,
break over
I second
time.
Well, she has been a late
We'll take a
Knotting's
vote
never
from the
come
audience.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? None. Welcome.
What time is it? Gosh.
Set a precedent.
Yeah.
Bead stringing is an
Joseph
art.
Pete Gomes. Sometimes these take a long time, but we have to give everybody a fair shake.
Fair chance. I understand.
Sorry, but, you know, fair is fair.
Well, I didn't know it has to be 75% handmade till I came here. So what I had in my mind is, I mean, my wife is doing candles, handmade jewelries, but those are not your categories. What I do is engrave on stones, personal jewelries, silver, metal, anything. So I'm not gonna show you those. I'm gonna show you my work. I've been doing shows in different part of the cities, starting from Rose Bowl to Orange County Fairground.
You do this on site? You would do this right there? You,
On site, yes.
Is this laser cutting or
No, engrave. With the engraver.
with like a Dremel tool or
Tools, yes.
electric?
Electric and battery operated.
but you.
I haven't
bought
gone up to that level yet. Not yet. People love them.
So what?
because-
You just pick a rock and then you can put a name on it. I don't quite
No,
get
this
it.
is. These are unique rocks. This picked from.
But you have the rocks on display then, or?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get a grasp.
There are some
here
rocks
for-
without names, nothing on it.
Okay.
And I do those works. On site.
No difference from the rock guys we already have.
Do you have
down there.
enough of these to facilitate a whole booth? Because you
Yes,
said
I
you brought
do.
other things too that
Yes, I.
you realized you weren't starting to be approved.
Yeah, I do have candles and stuff, but I don't want to show those because I already know you're not gonna approve it. Because
You're so optimistic.
no, I mean,
No, I'm not.
because this is my setup.
Okay.
So you would have an engraving machine there on site and you would just make things for people as they came up.
Right.
How long does it take you to engrave, say the Palm Springs word on that small rock?
I would say 15 minutes. It would be like $3 alphabet if it's pre-engraved. On site would be $4 alphabet.
Do you do everything freehand or use templates?
No, freehand.
Freehand?
Freehand. All freehand. Did you feel it? Did you feel those engraving?
Mhm.
Yeah. I left it without
Paint on
paint
some,
on the
yeah.
side. Yeah. So you wanna take a look at it again?
No.
What's the personal items?
Personal item, jewelries, silvers, gold, watches.
So they can bring you something and you can.
Yeah, they love them. A tourist loves them because they think that it's part of California. It's California rock. That's what it is. I picked them from Santa Monica Mountains and some other parts of,
So you gather these
oh,
stones?
foothills. So they love them because thinking that it's a part of California. Yeah.
So you do have enough of these stones to facilitate a whole table?
Oh, yes.
And some of them would already be done, like with things on them? and-
Right, right. Some of them are like done all, like,
You have someone else who does this already?
Yeah,
it's
down in front of the
similar.
pub.
Not, but they're different.
Right, right.
like most of them I come do with the, like this. It comes with the name pre-engraved. Like I have like, say 300 names.
Okay, so you'd have a bunch already, so basically the rocks would fly.
With names on them. Yeah, I make a motion, we approve Jose Gomez, Joseph Gomez.
Joseph Gomez, right.
To sell, his engraved rocks at Village Fest.
I second.
Before we approve, on your application, you have personal. On-site, $10, personal.
I mean, that's an average.
Like if they bring you
So
something,
if
is that what
they
that is?
bring you,
Right.
Okay.
If they bring in something. But if it's like names, it'll be $3 pre-engraved
Okay.
alphabet.
okay. So we'll be approving for your rocks only,
Thank you.
correct?
Correct.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Lace Memories?
Well, I feel like I'm coming to the pearly gates and I'm standing before to
You're
beg to
not.
come in.
You're not. You
Yeah. Now, are we being too harsh?
No,
on
you guys are
everybody
nice, just
Before we
kidding.
go on?
It's just
You
hard
can
to
say
see
that
pictures
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could be quiet till they leave.
No, you guys are nice, very, very tactful. It's just, it's a scary thing sitting back. Anyway, little short story. My name is Brenda Smith. We've just become residents of Palm Springs. I'm from Louisiana, so the flair that I have here is southern, I guess you can say. I write poetry, been published about 6 times, so I use a lot of my poetry in what I do. And I make absolutely everything from scratch. This is bookmarks that start from the printer. Some of this one in particular was a photograph that I took and then faded it out, and I write the poetry to match the picture. So this was a lighthouse, and this one is a tapestry that I took in and pulled in and wrote the poem on it. And then I cut them out and they comes forward to a sheet, and I cut them out. Everything comes with the pen that's removable to wear. And the neat thing about the pen is I've been making this lace jewelry for 15 years. I take lace and I dye it into a gold metallic dye. And I take about a week out of a whole year, and I do about 2,000 yards at a time. This is a small simulation because I've already done it this year. And then I take it and I have a formula that I revised to make it really, really hard and durable, and I harden it. And then after I harden it, then I embellish it with jewels and roses and pearls and that sort of thing. So I brought you a sample of the hardening of it and the dyeing and all the pictures that I took of it. And everything I do has a pen that's removable to wear. That's kind of a thing that I've done. And I brought in the poetry and everything. I print all my own cards. This was actually my grandmother's plate that I scanned in and ovaled it to make my cards. And in the back I write the poetry, and I dedicated it to my grandmother. It says, "This golden lace represents the softness of your love with the brilliance of your wisdom, edged with the brighter cord to hold in the relationship we shared," because my grandmother's gone now, and she was the inspiration to what I am. "Decorated with the beauty of spring, which would keep our love blooming for eternity, enhanced with the jewels, which can only represent the love I feel for you." So a lot of my things are all inspirational, mother, daughter, sister poems and poetry and that sort of thing.
What are these little flowers on here made out of?
Paper, and then I come back with a paintbrush with a more liquid of the hardener,
Mhm.
and kind of brush over it to harden it to make it more durable.
So you make these?
I don't make the paper roses. I come back and harden them
after they've already been put on.
Okay.
Do you paint them or?
I dye them. A lot of them I dye myself. Some of them have already come in the color that I need. And there's a hardening process that I put it through. When I dip them, like the solid roses, I dip them upside down and pull, and it pulls the dye down to the top, and so it gives it like a, I guess, a 3-dimension color. I discovered doing this like 15 years ago. I was decorating men's old jackets, and I just saw designs in lace. I'm kind of like, you know, when you have a card in front of you, you have to see what the design, what the shape reminds you of. I see things like that, and I make different, like, butterflies. Yeah. Yeah. I do the harvest festivals too.
Oh.
And this is another little thing that I want to share with you.
Oh, we haven't gone that far yet.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the booth, and I use old shutters and that sort of thing to hang all of the stuff on. And this is a spindle that I put some pins and stuff on, and I make all of my own display things too. This is like little slats of wood, and I'll explain that.
Yeah, we
whole
haven't gone that far yet.
situation
Sorry.
later.
Okay.
Now I'll explain to you about the bottom part.
Yes, please do.
This is, I designed this originally out of the lace pins out of desperation for myself because I have to wear readers, you know, when we get to be older. And I didn't want to wear the chains like everybody else. Here you go. So I decided I was going to design an eyeglass pen, and I designed it out of the lace jewelry because that's what I was doing at the time. And for about 6 months, I was selling strictly lace jewelry eyeglass pens. And the reason the eyeglass pen is that the heart hangs down and your glasses hook into it, and you can move and go wherever you want to go. And well, I decided that this was such a neat and wonderful product. I was selling like 100 pieces a weekend, so I decided to take a look in doing some that you could wear every single day. You don't want to wear your lace flower stuff every single day. So I went to, there's a trade shows in Rhode Island. Johnson, Rhode Island is where I went, and that's where all the finding companies are and the casting companies. And I contacted, this was about 4 years ago, I came in contact with a man who, I guess he took me under his wing and I became a student of his. And so what we do is once a year I go down there. My very first time that I went down there, I spent 2 weeks. The whole town of Rhode Island closes in the month of July. And I go down there for about 2 weeks. I went about 3 weeks the first time. And I take my designs. What I do is I look for junk stuff and I glue things together and paste things together, and then I bring it down there and we make a mold out of it. And then he has all of the equipment, and then we make all the molds, and I get all the pieces together and bring them back here, and I assemble them through the year. He holds the pieces there for me and has them. I don't know if you know what plating is, but he puts it through a plating, and we do the silver and gold oxide plating on them. And I don't do all the plating while I'm there. I do what I need to take with me, and then through the year, and I have the invoices to prove that. Through the year, he sends me like the pieces that we made while he holds them for me, so I don't have to spend so much money at one time. But what he does is he charges me for. He normally charges like $30 for mold designs, but he charges me $15 because I work with him. We do it there together. And then he charges me the use of his equipment. It's $100 a day while I'm there. And then alloys, which is the liquid that we use to pour into the molds. He charges me however much we use, and then the gold and silver oxide by the pound. And then every year I go back with new designs. These are my new designs for this year. So that's who I am, basically.
So these here are done from things you found?
Yeah, actually, this is a spoon, and what I did, I cut the end of the spoon off, and when I got there, what we did was we molded the loop around and into the mold, and that way, and this back here, I can't. We'll weld on that one, that's far enough. Well, what we do is. This part, if I had my tools with me, you could pull it back and then you add the ring to it. This one I found in an antique store, and whenever I brought it in there, it had crystals, and we just took the crystals out and molded it. And then we also mold, I use these rings, this fancy heart, oh no, I don't have a fancy heart.
So you took that
That
spoon
fancy
part
heart.
and then you made a mold to to keep making them over and over.
Mhm. This one, there were two parts to this one. I actually glued those two together and made a mold out of it. And this one, these are two parts that we did separately. And in the back, you can see.
This
you
one's
can
for you,
actually-
Larry.
And I did it with the shield, for the.
And this,
I
and then
actually-
this is your design that you just did yourself.
Yeah, I actually just drew that on a piece of paper, and we actually cut it into a mold, because if you'll notice, there's not like, I really didn't like the way it came out, but it's okay, but it doesn't have a lot of fancy stuff on it. But this one, I did that one for a motorcycle rally thing after 9/11, so that one, that's one.
I get this, okay.
So, and then I do all my own printing, everything I print all my own, I'm sorry, sorry. I print all my own cards that everything goes on, everything has a message or a poem or whatever on all that I do. And this is the molds, by the way, if you want to see how it's done. You actually, it's like a round, it's not very big, the piece that, it's the machine that it's in, and it's hard to explain, but it's like a metal mold kind of thing, and you pour the rubber into it at a certain point, and then once you get the rubber in, you push your product into it, and then you pour another piece on there, and these things hold it apart from it. You have to have all that in there precisely. Of course, he's the expert at it. And then it has a time of waiting to dry, and all of this is all important. The reason why this is, it's a spin. So when it's spinning, all of
Excess?
Yeah, the excess has to go out through this area here. That's why all of that's all molded out that way too. So anyway, it was a nice experience. But it's
Yeah.
quite costly to have the equipment
Yeah.
yourself, so that's why we go down there once a year and do that. And then he, like I said, he does the plating and stuff for me too.
And you want to show these?
Oh, and this is an added thing to the 2 gifts in 1, that I do all the lace wings, and we make the little bodies, I paint the faces. This is, like I said, I'm from Louisiana, so this is actually moss that comes out of the trees from my dad's house. And then we just do the pin that's removable to wear, and then I do all the poems on them too. So they're all inspirational for mother, daughter, sister, friends, and I write them, all the little poetries on secret pal stuff, all that kind of thing.
So you're making the whole doll, sewing it from
Yeah.
scratch?
Yeah, and I don't actually crochet this, but I make everything, and I make all the bows. On the jewelry too, I don't know if I have one on, on this one, we actually make this little tiny bow, me and this one friend of mine, and we stiffen this little tiny bow. So we make hundreds of these at a time. So you can't find these anywhere, we actually make those too. And I cut all of this other kind of lace out and harden all of that together, and we just make different designs to get it all done together, so.
I think seeing how she even prints her own cards, her own style.
And you might find me sometime with a new plate, on the front, because if I have a new color or something, I'll find another plate or another. I have tons of my bookmarks. I've got like 12 different designs, and I've actually painted watercolored some of the designs with pathways and stuff. And my poem is about your pathway to peace and that kind of thing. So it's all coming from. And I also brought some of my poems just to show you that I'm not lying. That I did have like all my poems that were presented and copyrighted and written into these books here.
I'll make a motion that we approve Lace Art, Lace
Second.
Memories.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I made it to the
Opposed?
gates.
None? You're in.
You're very creative.
Thank you. I love it too.
Do you
It's
ever
just like
sleep?
no. I was just telling somebody that it's like we work 7 days a week. It's terrible. But it's like it's what you do, so you just.
It's very, very unique.
Thank you.
Well, good luck.
Oh, one more question, if I can request. I would like to be near Heminger's Fudge.
Actually, he's gonna be taking that.
Oh, from Fred?
Yeah.
And we're gonna be able to backstock my stuff into the store, so it would be real nice if I could have it like right there.
Oh, you're taking over Hemminger's, the business?
Well, that's still in negotiations.
Oh, okay.
But I'll
Alright.
be in the store, working the store.
All right.
We're gonna do the whole season and see what happens.
Good. I did all the work in there when he moved in.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's a small world, isn't it?
I guess I don't have to repair too much as I go in there.
I hope
you a
not.
secret-
We know who to
secret
call when
recipe.
something goes wrong. But we do love it here. It's a great little town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. We'll see you guys then. Oh, Elaine. I wanna ask you.
Art by Masters.